And we're live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the pre-show of the podcast, and I have a co-host tonight. So, John, how are you, sir? Okay, and you are not coming through. Yeah, that happened. Hold on here. Let's just realize none of your audio is going. It's not pegging the board. That's okay. That's okay. We got this. Let me see here. We're using a new call system, folks. We're using what do you call it? Zencaster. Yeah, it's Zencaster. Huh. And it's going through there. Wonder why that's not. That is interesting. Okay. Yeah, no kidding. You know what? That might be what was happening. All right, let's try this. I'm going to set the default to that. See if that... Talk now.
What do you want me to say?
Oh, my gosh. You've got to be kidding me. All right, so Zencaster requires me to set... All right, well, we might not be using this much longer. They require me to set you as the main audio.
What?
Yeah, it's crap. All right.
Okay.
At least you're still coming through. All right. I bet you now that's why you weren't coming through the monitor before. Hold on. See if I can fix the monitor. Sorry about this, folks. We were like, things are weird here. But yes, we're going, like I said, new stuff here, man. We're going to town.
The wonders of live technology and broadcasting.
Yeah. You only need one headphone. All right. Good to go. All righty. So yeah, things are looking good. Okay, yeah, you can open Audacity now.
Yep, we're open.
Okay, I'm gonna open my software and make sure it's good to go. So sorry we're late tonight, folks. It's just one of those things, man, where we're just kind of, Monday was a little nuts. So, I'm very excited. All right, so I got to turn on my microphone. Check. Get a sound check on the... Good. Are you hearing sounds?
Yes.
Good. You'll get the sound effects then. Yeah, I fixed it.
Yay.
All right. So we are good to go, dude. If you're ready, I'm ready.
What'll
ready. Happen is, like I said, I'll handle the intro. I'll handle the pre-stuff, like, Geek to Geek, that sort of thing. And then I'll flip it to you during Untap, after I untap the beer. And then we'll have a little bit of conversation. Then I'll go into Upkeep where we'll kind of tell people what's happening with the show. And we're on our way. Any questions?
All right. Nope.
All right, cool. Rock and roll. So what I'll do is this. I'm going to count 3, 2, 1. And I need you and I both to say click as we hit it so that I can kind of get us going at the same time for recording. So... You got your Audacity. You got your mouse over the red button.
It's hovered right now.
All righty. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. Click. Greetings, salutations, and welcome to the DR Casual Podcast, the show by casuals for casuals, where the DR stands for Dirty Rotten. I'm your host, Will Benson, joined this week by one of our patrons, one of our friends, one of our longtime listeners, John. How are you, sir?
Better than I deserve and keeping on going.
Awesome. Well, let's get into the untap, upkeep, and draw. And I just knocked my beer over, so we will not be untapping this right now because that ends horribly. I'm standing over a computer, and if I open that now, well... This gets exciting. But before we do any of that, I'd like to remind you guys that we are a part of the Geek to Geek Media Network. This is a network of geeky content, podcasts, articles, all sorts of great stuff. We're getting things ready. They talk a lot about gaming, like video gaming. I think they were looking to me to write a little bit more about Magic, but I tend to want to write about things like, good writing. I've been writing a series of articles on, like, how good writing can make even, like, mediocre shows better. Stuff like that. But they've got so much great stuff up there. You got to check it out. It's at geektogeekmedia.com. They're all about inclusion, positivity, all that stuff. They're very positive. I want to also remind you guys about our Commander Craft show, which is run usually on Tuesdays, which it was last night. It's where we play listeners like you using webcams and four-person Commander over Spell Table. If you want to find out more, hop into our Discord at discord.com drcasualmtg.com. Also, don't forget Cantrip Cartel. Jake kind of hosted with us a few weeks ago. You know, we're not, the old network doesn't exist anymore, but I'm still going to pimp these guys out. Cantrip Cartel, you can't go wrong. But we are in Untap, and yeah, this is where I would untap this lovely Boston lager, but God, it hurts not to untap that. But I'm going to just move past that and ask John, sir, how the hell are you tonight?
I am excited to talk all things Magic tonight.
Yeah, we've been trying to get this done. I mean, this is kind of like the coolest part about this whole new era is, you know, I'm gonna be rotating people in for a while. So I'm kind of, you know, I'm going Regis Philbin here. No offense, Kelly Ripa would look a lot better, but
none taken.
But yeah, so I'm very excited for that. I'm glad that we were able to make it work out. I know. Thanks for being so flexible. I'm on call, guys. I could get a call during the show. I'm on call for work, and something came in, so that's why we didn't record Monday. We will still be recording Mondays right around the 7 o'clock hour. I actually had a call tonight, or we would have recorded earlier. So, and I helped the kids decorate. Once they finished decorating, they wanted to watch a movie. So, because you know, we're getting everything here is ready for the holidays, man. It's you know, we got the trees up. I said trees. You know, we've done everything but light outside. And please never ask my wife about lighting outside because she gets very, very saddened by that. But other than that, how about you? You got everything ready for the holidays yet?
We are as ready as we're going to be. We've got the tree up. I do not do well with heights, so we are staying away from outside lighting.
But here's the thing. I also am not really good with outside lighting. But I found those things you stake in the ground and it throws lights on the house. A lot better. But yes. Oh,
yeah, that requires
Bun, thank you.
It on and off.
Huh? Really? Alexa, stop. Wow. What the fuck? Is it out there? Echo, stop. And my beer opened. But yeah, so have you finished shopping yet?
Are you ever really finished shopping?
You know, I thought I was, and then I keep finding things for my wife. I've been doing like the 12 days of Christmas with her. She's gotten it started giving her Pixel Watch, and then she saw a mouse she really wanted, so I got that. And since she was with me, I was just like, well, I'll just give it to you now. And then, yeah, I've just been giving her little gifts, and I mean, I still got like 4 or 5 ready to go. So she made the mistake over the summer of telling me she was really upset that she's never gotten a stocking. She's like, I never get stockings. And you know what? I think that's a mom thing. We tend to leave stockings to the moms. And so I never really thought about it. I mean, I'd throw a couple of lottery tickets in and maybe a gift or two, but I didn't realize I'm like supposed to do that. So yeah, I actually went on Amazon and bought like a $40 box, like a fundraising box of full-size candy bars. And actually I had to go and buy another one because she found out about it. And so now every day it's like, can I have another Kit Kat? Can I have another Kit Kat? I need a Reese's. Listen. And I'm like, so I just kill myself. But anyway, yeah, So
you're saying if I don't have one, then I'm in trouble?
What do you mean? Yeah, you should really, yes. If your wife might not tell you, like my wife, I was like, why the hell didn't you ever tell me that? And she's like, well, I just thought you'd know. So I was like, okay.
Remember, honey, you're talking to a man.
Yeah, exactly. So her and I had to, you know, so yeah, I've set her up this year. Plus, I mean, I've gone nuts on the kids. We'd also gave the kids their big presents. The boys got new beds. You ain't hiding that. So they got their, but I mean, my daughter and stuff. Actually, my daughter, I don't think they're watching. Her boyfriend might watch. Hello, Logan. Like tonight we were gonna do this thing. Well, we were gonna send her to a water park, and we're watching the Polar Express, and they go down those slides, and Isabel's like, yeah, I hate water slides. Like I've never gone down them. I don't like them. I'm always afraid my skin's gonna catch and rip. I'm like, well, shit. Yeah, about not going explicit. Well, that lasted, but I mean, yeah. I'm like, Wendy and I both just looked at each other, and we're just like, crap. So back to the drawing board. I mean, Logan's easy. He plays Magic, and he's got a couple of commander decks that are not very powerful. So I just keep, like, he was here last time. I'm like, you don't have a Smothering Tithe? He was playing a Spirit deck, so he had blue and white. I'm like, you don't have Smothering Tithe? Here.
Yeah, okay.
Smothering Tithe. Then, oh, you don't have this? Here.
Yeah, here's this.
Yeah, I mean, basically like, oh, Shockland? Here. I'm like, damn it. But yeah, it was good.
No longer your collection, it's your collection.
Well,
plural.
When my wife and I went out of town earlier this year, he came over and where's my Smothering Tithe? It's with your Ristic Study in my deck, Nick. But yeah, we went out of town and I had Logan and Nicholas like build their decks together, and Logan was going through my cards. He's just like, yeah, man, I didn't take some stuff, and there were a few things I was like, you sure? I thought I had one of these cards, and you have it in this deck, and I can't find it. And he didn't. Obviously, I found it later, but still, good. He's my daughter's boyfriend, so I'm automatically not. Gee, you too, Kyle. Everybody wants a Smothering Tithe. That's great. So.
What, do we look like Oprah here?
Yeah. You get a
Smothering Tithe.
You get a tithe. You get a tithe. No. Yeah, so let's kind of pivot into upkeep. Let's kind of talk about what tonight's going to be. So, I'm very excited to have you here, John. We're going to talk a little bit tonight. I'm going to introduce you a little bit, let you talk a little bit about yourself, get you, establish your bona fides, as it were. Then we're going to pivot into the Hasbro Fireside chat. This happened last, I think, Thursday. It was an investor chat, and I have thoughts. So that might lead us into a comment. And then main two, we're going to talk about gift ideas. Maybe not so much last minute, but we're kind of in the last minute. We're going to talk gift ideas because I think next week Apollo and I will end up hitting more of the spoilers. I'm not going to do spoilers yet for that came out from the Phyrexian All Will Be One stuff because mainly because we were going to do this show Monday. And also, I want to have a little bit of time to let some stuff kind of percolate out. So that's kind of where we're heading there. But we'll talk, some gift ideas, stuff like that. And that's going to be the show tonight. So unless you got something else, dude, why don't we go into the main phase?
Let's hit it.
All right.
Main phase.
All right. Main phase. So as I mentioned at the top of the show, obviously, we've had some changes here on the podcast. The Nope deck is here. Great, Nick. This will be fun. We'll need it for next Tuesday. Because we got to stop that stuff. That was hurtful. We're gonna talk a little bit to John. John, like I said, John is one of our longtime listeners. He was a patron for a while. Pretty much here every week. And when we kind of started making some changes to the show, I wanted to kind of find ways to more include some of our more devoted listeners and things like that. That's not to say, hey, if you listen for a long time, you're going to get a spot on the show. But there are some people I get the feeling would have some really cool insights and stuff. And while we don't have a co-host yet, this is a good time for us to be a little flexible on that. So, John, why don't you tell us a little bit about how you fell into Magic, how you kind of got here?
Well, I started out after leaving college. Notice I didn't say graduate.
Right, good man.
In the spring of '94, I moved back home with my parents, and started. I was a comic book collector at the time, and the comic book store near me started carrying Magic, and the rest, as they say, is poor man's history. I got in from there. I wasn't on board quite as early as you were. You said that you've opened beta packs. I never had that privilege. I got in as the supply of the dark packs was was running out. I've been in and out of the game several times. I owned a store from the spring of 2006 until the fall of 2011 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Is that where you are now, Pittsburgh area?
No, I actually moved to South Dakota a couple years after closing the store.
Ah, okay. Wow. All right, so keep going. I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
No, so like I say, I've been in and out of the game several times. My most recent getting back in was about, what is it, 4 years ago now, when Dominaria United was the new set coming out.
The new no Dominaria, you mean just the
yeah. My son was interested in trying it out with the Boy Scouts, and I'm like, yeah, I think I can teach you a thing or two.
cool. So yeah, that sounds fantastic. I mean, like I said, look at this. Nameless Bun Bun says, "Hey, Midwest." Yeah, it's weird. I mean, for me, I mean, I was in college when Magic started in '93. I wasn't big into D&D. I knew some guys that were, but I was too busy chasing girls. But when they started playing Magic, it just seemed like an easier way to kind of, like, for me, I got into it. And I didn't have a lot of money. Like, my first collection started when this guy Marcus I was doing a show with, he just was like, dude, I got a lot of stuff here, go nuts. And I started buying, like, right away and stuff like that. So it's fantastic. I mean, so you have an interesting perspective, though, being a game store, like an LGS owner. I mean, you said you closed it in 11. Was it just bad timing, or, like, if as long as I don't want to be like pouring lemon juice on your wounds.
It's perfectly fine. The Tuesday before Thanksgiving of 11, we actually were had an armed robbery at the store.
Jeepers.
So they didn't get anything. I actually ended up with the gun, which instead of being a shotgun turned out to be a BB gun.
Oh.
But the next day, I'm talking to a customer, and the wife tries to call me, and she can't. I'm dealing with a customer. I'm not going to answer the phone at that time. So a few minutes later, she tries again. I'm still dealing with that same customer. And what's going through her head is, do I call the cops now, or do I just walk the 5 minutes from our house over to the store to find out whether the people from last night came back to finish the job?
Right.
So we decided, that was it.
Yeah, that would be enough to do it for anybody, actually. Wow.
It'd been a good run. We were getting the name out. We had started to turn a profit.
Wow, a game store turning a profit, even in 2011.
Yeah, scary enough. we survived the crash of 09, I believe it was.
Yeah, there was a major crash in 09.
And but it wasn't worth our sanity, so we shut it down that weekend.
Wow. So what'd you do with all the product?
Oh, it got pieced out.
Okay, I was gonna say, are we talking like you're gonna send your favorite podcast host a couple of dual lands just for being really cool?
The first time I sold off, I had a full play set of Revised.
Oh, so did I.
And
who knew though? Like, even though they were on the reserve list, even when I sold them, they were on the reserve list. I was kind of like, I didn't think it was going to be, to be quite honest. I mean, by the time I sold these off, I sold mine off in like 2004. Yu-Gi-Oh started up. Pokemon was starting. It was kind of like I was like, okay, and Magic was in a weird spot, where it started getting, because I think what happened was all of us originals started kind of getting married and growing up, and and it just, I remember that. But I mean, I kick myself for ever selling my set, man, for ever selling my stuff.
Absolutely.
Granted, we bought a car, but like I sold that and a whole lot of my X-Men comics, like at the same time. And I mean, it went to a guy in the military. Like I shipped it overseas, like on his dime. But because if you're sending something military, it goes to America and they take care of it. But yeah, like I sold everything to them. I mean, it was really good and on the up and up, and I got a couple thousand. But I've kicked myself ever since. And when I came back in 2016, I mean, that's kind of like, I think we talked about this. I talked about this a little bit last week. I mean, that's why this show started as standard based. Was the fact was when I came back, standard was how you kind of got back into Magic.
Absolutely.
And I think that happened right up until 2020. And it's one of those things that I want to eventually I do want to keep pimping Standard a little bit. I got to figure out a way to do it because I think it's part of the DNA of this show. But I mean, I can't. There's nothing firing. I mean, as it is today, I built my first my first Pioneer deck. I did build Izzet Phoenix, so I'm moving a little bit out of the Commander realm. I've been playing Commander since the pandemic, but I miss 60 card, and I've been playing a lot on Arena Explorer. So, but
it's very weird.
It is a little weird.
Locally here, our Standard scene is more prevalent than our Pioneer scene.
Really?
Yeah, we're getting 12 to 16 weekly.
Wow.
At the LGS I attend for Standard, and we're lucky to get 8 for most Pioneers.
Wow. That's because that doesn't hold a lot for what's for what what's the word I'm looking for here, the way that they're kind of talking about what's normal. I shouldn't say. I hate the word normal.
Against the grain.
Yeah, it's going. It's not. It's definitely not. The anecdotal. That was the word I was looking for.
There you go.
It's not the anecdotal. Thoughts on Standard these days. Really, I mean, as it is, I mean, the guy who put the post up was working for Wizards, saying, "Why isn't Standard firing?"
I've got some thoughts on that. We'll get to.
We'll get to that. But, I mean, that's definitely one of the things. And, I mean, and Nameless Bun Bun, he got into Magic through Standard back around Amonkhet. And to be honest, if Standard had been in the state it is in now, when I joined, I don't think I would be playing today. I think, that's the problem, though, Bun Bun. You've been here through Amonkhet and then through the big years. Like, right after Amonkhet, they started amping power levels. Not so much Ixalan. But don't forget, Ixalan Vampires was a freaking monster deck when they released Core 20. And that's kind of where things started. They started amping the power level right there. Then they started going into the guilds and War of the Spark era. And forget about it. Their foot went fully on the gas. And then Throne? Throne is where they basically was like, somebody take the cocaine away from Morrow. He's had enough. But, and that's just it. And now they've had to dial Standard back. Thank God. Because, like, how many cards were banned in Standard? And that was part of it, too, is that you had too many bannings. So you would spend $200 on an Omnath deck to get ready to go. And then 3 weeks in, they banned it. Or Fires. People were spending money on the Fires decks. And then all of a sudden, it's unplayable. It just, Standard was, because of Eldraine, and the sets after it, and Ikoria and the companion mishap. Like, that's what happened there. And now Standard is kind of where Standard's kind of where it was in Amonkhet. If I'm being honest, if you look at it, it's somewhat healthy. It's not tribal based like what do you call it was, like Ixalan was. But I mean, and there's no mono red. But mono white has kind of replaced mono red as far as a go-to cheap deck that really can hang with almost anyone.
I'd say right now it's not tribes, it's good cards.
It's good cards, and it's good synergies with part of it is New Capenna. The fact that they were able to get three colors really working well, and they added those triumphs in, and I'm sorry, they're triumphs. Wizards, rule number 1. When you reprint these, and you should, just make them new triumphs. Just name them triumphs and say it's the same number like you did with the freaking, Friends Forever cards or whatever, because not naming them triumphs was just stupid. I find that Standard is healthy. I'm not playing it. I'm not playing it in Arena, mostly because to get into it, like, I took a look at the decks that are up there that are meta, top of the MTG Goldfish and stuff. Which, if I'm going to play, I want to win and I want to play competitively. I didn't have enough wild cards, so I just started playing Explorer. I'm having a blast with Explorer. I'm loving my life right now. I'm playing a mono red deck in there. I've got I've got it as a Phoenix deck that I occasionally switch to, and then I made my own little Super Friends brew from Bant that isn't doing as well with Explorer Anthology 2, but was freaking kicking ass and taking names for a while there. I mean, you know, it was Teferi, it was Wandering Emperor, it was, you know, it just great. I was having a blast with it. I love it. If if you're playing arena, if you're out of arena, maybe dip your toe, and you were in before, dip your toe into, Explorer. I played arena so much early on that playing Explorer isn't a problem for me because I have a lot of cards from Ixalan, War of the Spark, leading up to that era. I mean, it's standard that I just don't have a ton of cards. But I don't know why it feels so different to me, to be honest. You brought up some great points. I don't think I'll play it since Commander's more fun, but I might look at it again. Yeah, Explorer rocks. Yeah, Bun, you're not wrong. The truth is that, and we talked about it a little bit last week, and we could talk about it here too from the Fireside chat because I think it'll come up. Standard was the premier. It's what Wizards did. It's how you went on the Pro Tour. It's how you were showing up on Twitch. And because of the pandemic and they stopped doing it, and then they have you playing Standard and Arena, but then they made you play Historic Alchemy. It's like they kind of just crapped on Standard. So,
and I think it was a perfect storm of badness between the as you said, the Eldraine and the Ikoria stuff, and then right into the pandemic when no one had a chance to really play very much Standard as Eldraine was rotating out.
Exactly. So, I mean, it's just, and here's the thing, we all needed Eldraine to rotate out. I mean, there was no way Eldraine was a mistake. Eldraine was way too powerful, and the fact we're going back scares the living hell out of me. But, that as it may, it sounds like, you've had a pretty great history as far as getting into Magic and stuff. I'm glad you're on the show. So, but keeping this kind of going, let's kind of pivot to the Hasbro Fireside chat. So, a lot of content creators have been talking about Magic 30 for a while. And then anytime anything came out, we kind of jumped on it. When B of A, Bank of America, came out with their thoughts on what Wizards is doing wrong, and they mentioned Magic, you almost could foresee that they were going to try to have some way to respond. And they did. Last week, they responded. They put together an investor call with a company that does this. It was the head of Hasbro, who used to be the head of Wizards, the new head of Wizards, and this lady from, I think it was UBS they were called or something. And basically, to color it, because I heard a lot of analysis of this thing. Remember, this was to investors. This was not to us. Like, they made it public, which I applaud them for. But at the end of the day, they are talking to people that, play in an arena that we do not play in. And are and they're looking to have them put actual money into their company and their product because their stock took a major nosedive. So understanding that is what happened, then okay, I can get behind that. So, but yeah, I mean, it was a shit show.
There's no two ways about it.
It was, I mean, it's proof of the echo chamber that we've kind of talked about, where Wizards is just kind of living in this, and we'll talk a little bit. I might dance a little bit on the Phyrexia because, I mean, it's yeah, but I mean, let's talk. I mean, a little bit. I mean, first of all, the takeaways that I took. I mean, my first takeaway was, they came out and said it. They're keeping their foot on the gas. Many releases, including Universes Beyond. They were like, we did 6 releases last year, which they undersold that. There were far more than 6, if you count Secret Lairs. They're like, but combining that with Secret Lairs, there's going to be many, plus Universes Beyond. And they went out of their way to say that, plus Universes Beyond. So no.
They said where they're getting the number 6 is what they're calling tentpole releases.
Yes.
So your 4 majors, assuming
Well, now 5.
Well, your
Because
four,
Phyrexia
your
has
four,
2.
your 4
Yeah.
your 4 standard releases plus your commander set plus whatever extra thing they have, whether it be
Usually
be
what
double
we'll call the master
masters.
set. Yeah.
Yes.
Right,
But,
and that's what they were kind of talking there. But I mean, they didn't define it. They really didn't define it. I mean, it's obvious they're talking about the standard sets. But here's the thing: last year, and this, not so much this year. I think this year we had 4. Crimson Vow. We've only had 4 this year, but we have 5 now. Usually in a standard rotation cycle, because we had 5 in this last standard rotation. They're gonna have the Phyrexia. All will be one, and then there's the second one. There's like almost right away. It's I should pull up the release.
March of the Machines.
Yeah, March of the Machines. It's so they actually added a new one in, and it's pretty. Yeah. I mean, they're not counting things like Unfinity. They're not counting, things like Double Masters, et cetera, et cetera. But here's the thing, and they kind of were inferring that, again, they're not talking to us, but I think what they were trying to say was, and then there's like the add-ons, like you should, our players are gonna buy what they want to.
And that's a whole thing.
Exactly.
That's a whole thing.
Yeah, and it's still predatory as hell, is my opinion.
Absolutely. But they said that their concept to get more players playing the game is the Universes Beyond.
Right. They are seeing this as a major success. Now, I cannot agree with that per se. In that,
I think it's going to boil down to how the Lord of the Rings set does.
Well, and the fact that they're making the Lord of the Rings set modern legal, like that is just, holy shit, or holy crap. I mean,
they don't have to do a Modern Horizons 3 then.
Yeah, well, no, they'll still do it next year. But this is them getting a Modern Horizons 4 out of it. And they didn't talk about that, but then when they talked about D&D, I realized that a lot of this is what they planned on, is that, they talk about this stuff being like, if you want to play into this, you should buy it. Well, you put out 2 commander sets now, every release, at least 2. Usually it's more, it's like 2, then 4, then 2, then 7, it's like, and each one now, and when they were first started this, they were charging $20 to $25. The power level wasn't there, but it was still somewhat decent. And then they haven't done that in forever. It's always $40 now. It's always at least 2, if not 4. And if you play Commander, you kind of need them. Now, maybe not as much anymore, because I've kind of decided part of the new changes is I don't think in Commander Craft, with the new show, I don't think we're going to do the pre-con showdowns anymore. We might just play pre-con nights where if you have a pre-con lying around, we'll just do it. But I don't think I'm going to feature these pre-cons anymore because I don't think I want to encourage people to buy them, if that makes any sense.
It absolutely does.
I mean, you know what? I'm gonna go the professor route here and start buying the singles I want from them, because holy crap, it's too much. It is way too much. And I don't know what they said about how many Commander sets are going to come out with Universes Beyond Lord of the Rings. It's going to be 4. I think it's got to be 4.
It's definitely going.
I mean, they'll do like wizards, they'll do hobbits, they'll do, elves, and they'll do like I don't know, Mordorians or I have no idea.
The Nazgul or whatever.
It's gonna. Yeah. So, yeah, but that's just it. And when we first heard of the BOA stuff, we all kind of said maybe Wizards is going to get the hint and they're going to take their foot off the gas a little bit. And basically, they went out of their way to say, nope, that's not happening.
We're doubling down.
Yeah, they're basically going this. So and then the other thing that they talked about, and this is what made me think this, and then I realized that what's happening in Magic is not an accident. They went on to talk a little bit about D&D, and I know we're a Magic podcast, but let's face it, we all kind of sit in the same boat sometimes. D&D is they're going to try to find ways to screw with that. They're going to try. I don't think they're going to succeed. I think this one's going to fail. But they mentioned in the call, and the words they used were they had not figured out a way to residually monetize Dungeons and Dragons like they have with Magic. And I took that as, some people have been giving the benefit of the doubts to Wizards as far as Modern Horizons product almost entering rotation into what's supposed to be an eternal format. And, we've all kind of talked about it like, but you don't have to get them. But, yeah, you kind of do. If you're playing Modern, you better have Modern Horizons 2 cards. If you're playing Red, you need Ragavan. You can't roll without these cards. And, yeah, they're admitting it. And they want to try to find the way to do that with Dungeons and Dragons.
All I'm going to say on that is the last time they tried to monetize D&D, lo and behold, here comes Pathfinder.
Or GURPS, or any number of other ones. I mean, yeah. I mean, they've said they have. That's why they bought Beyond. That's why they bought D&D Beyond. Is they mentioned that when they release content, when they release the books and stuff, they see a boost at release, and then absolutely nothing. They're like, we lose all that. There's no residual income. Once they have the books, they have the book. So they have plans to change it. And there's no way I don't hear with that they're going to try to find a way to make it pay to win. Now, again, it doesn't. D&D is not Magic. It's not. In a way, I don't think they understand it because D&D is not adversarial. Magic, at its core, you are a wizard fighting another wizard. It is an adversarial. There is going to be a winner and a loser. D&D is not about winning or losing. It's about having a bombast time,
It's about the experience.
It is. And now they're talking about, when they say things about, they're talking about subscriptions for D&D Beyond. Now, I have a subscription. I pay the $5 a month because I want to be able to, if somebody comes up to me and says, hey, Will, let's do some D&D. I haven't played it enough to be able to roll a character in a half hour. I'm going to be like, nope, good. Okay, good. I got it. We're good. Let's roll. That's kind of cool. So for me, it's not a problem. I am concerned about a paywall, and I think that's what they're going to try to look at in some way, and I don't know what it'll do for them because it's also something you can do yourself. You can write your own things, and if you're not a writer, well, you can also, go find somebody who did. It just, yeah. I mean, the other things that they talked. Go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah. The other things they kind of talked about. Universes Beyond. We mentioned it. It's here to stay. It's not going anywhere. They're going to expand it. Guys, thank you, Marvel, for making Snap. We're not going to have Spider-Man and Magic. But, we will have. I telling you, they're going to make a Batman. There's going to be a DC. Since they can't get Marvel, what they'll do is, and especially since I think Warner Brothers owns the rights to Lord of the Rings movies. I'm not sure. Well, I know they own Harry Potter. And, in Strixhaven, yeah, there was the people were talking around the campfire about they were going to Warner Brothers and Warner Brothers didn't want to do it. Oh, maybe not. Maybe I could be wrong. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see some kind of superhero set at some point.
Well, I'm trying to think. Paramount is the company that's making the D&D movie.
Yes.
Paramount owns CBS
and Star Trek. Oh, God.
And Star Trek.
No. Do not make a Star Trek. Oh, they're going to make they're making Doctor Who, for God's sakes. It's going to, oh, shit.
It's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
Just prepare yourself.
I know. We're going to get the vehicle, the Enterprise. We're going to get, Geordi's visor equipment. Oh, shit.
I've got boxes back there of the Star Trek CCG.
Yeah, exactly. They're just, Sulu. You're going to get Sulu's rapier. You're going to get Wow. That sounded awful, actually. That's kind of funny. I'm kind of.
Oh my.
Well, now, oh my. And yeah, so Universe Beyond is here to stay. Don't get me wrong, I might buy some Doctor Who stuff because I'm a Doctor Who fan, much like The Walking Dead. I bought The Walking Dead because I like The Walking Dead. Now, I bought the Warhammer stuff because, well, damn. But, I mean, you know what? I may not go crazy on Lord of the Rings. All right, guys, I'm gonna go on Front Street with you all right now. You ready? I'm not a fantasy nerd. I'm a sci-fi nerd. I'm not a big fan of Lord of the Rings. I'm not.
I'm both. I will.
I know.
I will buy your share of Lord of the Rings for you.
Because I went and saw them in the theaters. I saw the extended editions, especially Return of the King. I'm like, for God's sakes, how many endings does a movie need? But I mean, and they were fantastically filmed. They are fantastic stories. They were engaging. It's never been my thing. Like, if I'm watching fantasy movies, they got to have a certain, I don't know. Like, for some reason, I'm not a fantasy guy, but I love Lady Hawk. Maybe it has to do with, like, the bird or something, or that Rutger Hauerston's Blade Runner I'm just naturally inclined to like. But, yeah, like, fantasy for me, it has to be, it's not a given. Yeah.
So you're more the dystopian than the medieval.
No, because I like Star Trek, and the problems I have with Star Trek are with New Trek is they've lost the utopia. To me, Picard feels tonally wrong because, they're in a dystopian future of the Federation where, 20 years ago it wasn't there, so it took you only 20 years to basically tear down what it took 300 to build. Oh, okay, that's not dystopian at all. And when they start talking about things like, yes, in Picard Season 3, Riker and Picard are going to go at it, I'm like, oh, frack me. Great. Thanks, guys. You're going to ruin this too. But anyway, moving on. We're not the Star Trek show. So, I mean, for me, the overall call feels like they were trying to assuage it was weird. They were like one of two things. They were talking like they were trying to assuage the fears that the BOV report could give. And yet, they kind of went out of their way to say, no, that's exactly how it is, and here's why it's going to work. Like, they were just like, it's an echo chamber. They were tone deaf. Because I think Bank of America is far more right in that you need to realize this, yes, okay, I think somewhere along the line, Wizards realized they're drug dealers. They realize that people are, they're grabbing their vein and this, and they're like, we've got them. But unlike actual drugs, listen, you are not releasing a narcotic into my bloodstream that says, I have to buy your product. It comes from a place where I also like to buy scratch-off lottery tickets. But you know what? If it's feeding my family or buying a scratch-off, well, I tend to feed my family. So, I don't know. What did you think of the call?
So, there are a few things that I took away from the call. They said that part of the reasons that they've had issues was they had supply chain issues. That's why I just want to know, we're 30 years in, we're $1 billion company. How do you not have your own printing presses by this time?
No, I get that. I get
if you want to. If you've got all these people complaining about the quality of your product, meaning the actual cards and the Pringles of the foils, why are you not taking it in-house?
I think the reason that they don't is that odds are good it was out. Don't forget, okay, there's paper problems in the 90s, and there was paper problems in the early 2020 or 2000s. So I think they used to print their own, and then they outsourced it because they became, much more of a corporation. And odds are good, Hasbro was like, hey, Monopoly, we print cards for Monopoly. Let's just throw it over here. And that's probably what's happened. The supply chain issues I get. The supply chain issues I can understand. in that during the pandemic, yes. So I understood why Unfinity and Warhammer had to come out around the same time. I get that. I understood how that happened. Now, what I think they should have done was push Unfinity to 23. Okay, they should have been like, okay, rather than have 2 releases in the fall of this ancillary product, let's pivot. But instead, that's the mistake they made. And they talked a little bit about that, and they talked about the 30th anniversary. and they
scaled back the expected supply to ensure a great collector experience.
Translation: we realized these were not going to go up in value like they thought they were, so they lowered the supply for the demand, which is exactly what they should have done. I get it. For that reason, if they were going to do that. And what they didn't say is they rolled back what they were selling. They went out of their way to say they rolled back how much they were going to sell, not how much they have. They have however many they have. It's already printed because people already have them. And they had them at the 30th event.
Yep. I still maintain that they sold off just enough in that 40 minutes.
Yep.
They sold off enough to pay for the print run, and we're going to see these packs for the next 10 years at your pro level events.
That, and they also are, as I understand it, they are giving them to WPN stores. WPN stores were originally like the high-end stores, so like a Kerwin's. We're going to get, I think they were going to get 2. I think now they're getting 4 or 6.
I hadn't heard that.
And that's fine. And they're treating it like the mystery booster, and that the store's not paying for it. So great, fantastic. And I hope the stores give them out. Like I said this last week on air, and I meant it. Like if they came to me and said, if they asked me and said, hey, we'd like you to open an MTG 30 pack on there, I'd tell them no effing way. Again, because it's the same thing about not playing the pre-cons anymore. I don't want to pimp that. All right. I don't want to tell people that I'm down with this because, et cetera, et cetera. Now, if they sent one to me, if they're like, I've got a friend who works in the legal department at Wizards, and say they, put my address in because they have it, and, had Wizards send me a pack, a box, I'd have to think long and hard about how I would do it. I don't think I would monetize it. I don't think I'd crack it. I don't think I'd open it. I don't think I'd make a stream on it. I don't think I'd open it and then destroy it. I'd probably be more along the line of being like, okay, for the win-a-box thing this year, you're just going to win a pack of this. Who wants to play? And some people may not or whatever. To me, that's fine. Because I don't want to make bank off something I don't agree with. I still think Wizards screwed up in that this should have been a set that they printed all year. That they put it throughout all the retail chains, and maybe not even the big box. I understand it would sell more in the big box, but at the very least, give a 6-month window to the LGS and put it through there. Set an MSRP of $29 for one pack. You would have sold 1 billion. You'd have sold so many. Everybody would have done it. People would be like, "Let's do a draft. Let's do a sealed." Absolutely. Let's try that. Let's do a Rochester draft. Oh my God, I'd love to Rochester draft.
Oh man, those took days.
They did, but they were fun. And listen, I grew up in Rochester, New York, so when I hear Rochester, I'm like, yes, I saw it. I didn't play in one, but I saw it. I'm like, it's. The thing about it is they covered it up. That was an obvious BS. Like, it's obvious then. I love the fact that they kind of pulled it because a lot of people were like, no, they sold out. No, they didn't. They weren't going to sell out. So they mentioned it. What else did you think of the call overall?
So there was one other big thing that I really wanted to talk about.
All right. Well,
and it's their concept for how they are dividing up what their releases are doing. They said they're going with what they're calling a segmentation approach.
Yes.
So you've got the casual players who get the commander. decks who get the Infinity stuff.
Right.
You've got the collectors, which get the Secret Lairs, the 30th Anniversary, the Collector Boosters.
Which is bullshit. Go on.
What are they really putting out there for competitive players, which is their third group?
Mm-hmm. And the answer to that is nothing.
Exactly.
It's not just that. And this is going to kind of pivot to what the part I want to talk about with Phyrexian will be one, is that Elish Norn pisses me off. Elish Norn, I love the card. I think the card's fantastic.
Which of the 6 versions?
Yeah, it's the 6 versions. It's becoming so diluted, and so it would be one thing if they said we're doing 6 versions so that everybody can have an Elish Norn. All right, this card we're not gonna make bank off of, but you know that's not how it's going to be. It's kind of. And you don't know how to get it. Like, they were like, during that stream, they were like, well, I think these will be, and even the guy doing the stream was like, well, I think these are going to be collected. But can you remind me how we're doing? It's like, listen, if you're doing a stream where you're introducing this and you don't know, holy shit.
Right. Absolutely. But I mean, look at what they're offering right now for Phyrexia. They're offering collectors boosters for the collectors. They're offering draft boosters for the people that draft.
Yep.
They're offering set boosters, which is not for any of their particular groups, because in those set boosters you have the list card or the commander card. So commander cards are not for the competitive player.
All right.
So here, I'm gonna... Wizards, you can get...
I'm calling combat. Go ahead.
Okay. Wizards, you can take this idea and run with it. I'm promoting that you need to come out with a competitive booster.
I think
of it like double masters.
Set boosters are competitive. I believe set booster is competitive. I think set boosters are what are intended for... I mean, they are not saying this. I think that is what a set booster is for, because a set booster, don't forget, a set booster has less commons, less uncommons. It usually will come with a possibility of 2 or 3 rares, as well as the list card.
But now hear me out on the competitive, on what I don't know what they should actually call it, but I'm going to call it a competitive booster for right now.
Sure.
15 card pack, same as always. 2 rares, 5 uncommons, 8 commons, no foils.
Yeah, no foils would be good, because let's face it. I mean, you guys have seen me opening the Secret Lair, and I get pissed off when I get a foil. I can see that. But I really believe the set boost, like for me, I prefer to open set boosters at this point. I'm actually almost like, when I get a box of draft, I'm a little underwhelmed. They have officially moved the needle with me.
They absolutely have.
And so
that's what I've been cracking is the set boosters also.
Yeah, because there's the more possible bang for the buck. That being said, you're not wrong. You're not wrong, but I do believe that Wizards built set boosters, and here's the thing: I think they built collector boosters in mind too, because they sit there and talk about the collector booster stuff, but like you were only guaranteed a transformer, and some of those are mechanically unique in a collector. Now you could pull them in a set booster, 1 out of like 5 or 4, but you were guaranteed 1 in collectors, and that's kind of you're not wrong in that they don't have anything for competitive, but I also think that I feel like the set booster is kind of where they're sitting for that. I don't think it's right, but I think it's But I like not opening 7 commons.
I still say that the set booster does not meet that demand, because you have all the stuff that a competitive player is not interested in. And you keep throwing that stuff in there, like the list cards.
I opened it to Fairy, is like the one that makes your creatures phase out at the end of combat. Like that's a great card. You can open. I mean, if they curate the list to competitive cards, to cards that, don't see a lot of reprints.
Then make them standard legal.
Well, no, just make them modern legal. They can be modern. Modern's competitive. And I'm going to say this. More people play modern right now than standard. More people play Pioneer anecdotally than standard.
Anecdotally.
Yeah.
Anecdotally. No, absolutely. You're absolutely right. Hey, Aaron Forsyth, you want to know what's wrong with standard? You're not putting all standard cards in your standard packs.
True. Well, and that's just it. Wizards is making more money now without standard being official. Let's just say it. They are making more now without standard being premier. They make more. Because and here's where it changed. We say 2020, but if we're really looking at it, where it changed was Modern Horizons. When Modern Horizons hit, the first one, and when it hit so big and it's so warped, that eternal format that people had their decks for 7 years and now had to go out and buy boosters like anyone else, that is when Wizards was like, well, what the hell are we doing with standard? Because what happens is like, yes, we get our big bang for our buck there. We get our big buck in the standard set. And that's it too. Our reaction to Eldraine probably also colored that, because before that, they used to make their big buck on standard. And then, we'll say 4/5 of the set fall off for modern. Like, there's only like 1/5 of any standard set would be playable in modern. But they had already made their big buck, and now it's going to the secondary market. When they released Modern Horizons and they introduced rotation there, now all of a sudden, shit's going sideways. And they're making money off standard, and then they're making money off modern. Now somebody gets the genius idea. Well, Commander Legends, let's do the same thing. We want you to draft it. We want you to have a limited experience with Commander. Bullshit. You wanted rotation. All right. You entered Jewel Lotus. You brought in Fierce Guardianship. You brought in these cards that you cannot not play in. If you're playing blue, you're going to spend $46 for one copy of a Fierce Guardianship. Why? Because you need it. That's the problem, is that I don't think Wizards now wants a competitive standard because they don't need it anymore. They are making money elsewhere. They're making money off, because also most modern players, don't forget, to be competitive in modern, your deck is probably sitting at $1,000 already, which means you have disposable income. That's
$1,000. That's just your mana base.
I know, but I'm saying at least. Because don't get me wrong, I had a Bogle deck I spent maybe $400 on. You used to be able to modern. You used to be able to compete for relatively cheaply. Not anymore. You're gonna play. That's why I don't play modern, and I still say that's why I have a local game store that's closing. Their Friday night Magics were modern. I'm like, I can't do this. I can't come down. I can't hang. Like, I can't play modern. I don't have a modern deck. I can make one. Oh, bring your standard deck. It's modern legal. Well, yeah, because if I want to get smacked around,
if I want to throw away my entry fee.
Basically. So, but I think that a competitive product, I think, as close as we can get right now, is the set booster. And to a lesser extent, draft. But yeah, I think it's a set booster, and you just kind of have to take the ancillary bull crap with it. Personally, I'm going to tell you right now, I like the list card. I love the list card. I think the list thing is fantastic. I opened a Ren and 6 on air once. Because my former co-host and I were cracking packs, and I opened a Ren and 6 and I won. Because I was fantastic. I was so happy with that. I was like, it's a bonus. I think you're right. I'm going to let you win this combat because I think you're right. I think they do need a competitive product. But I don't see how they do it, and I don't know that they'll do it in standard. I think if they're going to do it, they'll do it in a Modern Horizons. I really don't believe Wizards want standard to succeed anymore.
What do you think is coming next?
I think they're gonna go
modern
double
Horizon set, or a first Pioneer Horizons.
Well, with this year's Lord of the Rings set, I think what they're going to do is they'll count that as Modern Horizons 3-ish. So Modern Horizons 2.5. I think next year you'll see a Ultimate Masters 3, but I do think you're going to see a Pioneer Masters. Maybe not. It's possible they don't want to do that too soon because they're also getting tagged with, I'm not the only one sitting here saying you introduced rotation into a non-rotation format. And Pioneer almost died because of the pandemic. And now it's firing. I mean, events are firing. It's being played at RPTQs and stuff. It's the format it's kind of becoming the competitive format. But don't forget on that call as well, they mentioned that they don't consider the competitive Magic scene to be the premier scene anymore. They don't feel, they're like, well, competitive is really only 5 or, like they came up with some weird freaking number. And they're like, 40% of our base is casual. I'm like,
no, they said 80.
Yeah, it was 80. And I'm like, that's crap. Because here's the thing. You sit there and say Commander is not competitive. CEDH is a thing. It is a real thing. Oh, no, Bun, that's just it. They put Pioneer out to make Legacy Vintage. And I still think that's why they're not banning anything in Legacy. Delver's been a problem there for the past 6 months. And now they've got this initiative shit going on down there. No, they want Legacy to die. They really want Legacy because you know why? We can use those cards in Commander.
And they don't make a cent off
They
of
don't
Legacy.
make a cent off it, and 90% of it's on the reserve list if you're competing, which means, again, they don't make a cent off it. Now, if they can find a way around the reserve... all right. How long till they set their sights on Legacy, Bun? Here's how it works. They say, fuck the reserve list. When they go there and they say, screw the reserve list, we're going to print these cards, come at us, we've got lawyers, and we're going to put you in court for the next 20 years. Because that's really what Wizards could do. Wizards could be like, we're a corporation. You can sue us if you'd like, but we'll keep you in discovery for the next 10 years. And we'll basically price you out. And then what'll happen
Our lawyers make more money than your lawyers.
Exactly. And what'll happen is that if they can find a way out of the reserve list, then that's when they set their sights on Legacy. Then all of a sudden, we want Legacy to become a thing. And what it'll be is they'll be like, we have heard you. We have heard you like Legacy, and we want to give you Legacy, so here's what we're going to do. And then, and don't kid yourselves. A lot of people have said it. This Magic 30th anniversary thing was 100%. That was the dove down the mine shaft. That was the, how does this play? The
Absolutely.
price, and here's the thing. I hope they hear what was really being said, which was, and I said it, and everybody said it. When you watch that stream where they announced Magic 30, for the first half hour, you're excited. I was like, holy crap, this is fantastic. And then they're like, you get 4 packs for $1,000. I'm like, what? And that's where you lost me. Again, it is a price thing. It is not. The product is fantastic. It's your pricing. And yeah, because you know what? I've said it before and I'll say it again. Screw the reserve list. I'm sorry. Those of you out there with reserve list cards, I don't care. Okay? They're still going to be worth money. All right? A Pete Rose rookie card is still a Pete Rose rookie card, no matter how many years he played. Derek Jeter's rookie card is still Derek Jeter's rookie card. All right, the stuff you have on reserve list, the stuff you've been holding on to and keeping care of, that Black Lotus, a beta edition Black Lotus will always sell more than a Magic 2030 Black Lotus. I promise you. All right, so I don't care about the reserve list. And frankly, I think some of those cards should be out there. At the very least, dual lands. At the very least, they got to find some way to get dual lands out. Because if you want Commander to be a thing, you need dual lands. So yeah, they're not proxies, but also no, this isn't a violation of the reserve list. Wizards logic. Yes, nameless. I mean, what do you think? I mean, John, all right, now John, you were a store owner. Like, I found that a lot of store owners have an interesting thought on the reserve list that it may not share. I mean, what do you think?
I think there is a. I'm trying to gather my thoughts here for a moment. There is a place for the reserved list, but it is not an omnipresent place.
Right.
There is no reason that random bulk rare from Legends should never be reprinted simply because it was made in X year.
Yeah.
Now,
and lands. I'm sorry. I consider lands to be, they're such an essential part. Now, I get not printing a Black Lotus. I do. I get that. I get not printing Time Walk. I understand that. But the freaking dual lands. And I think I think if you took a poll of people who hate the reserve list, that's what they're going to cite is the dual lands. I want to play a dual land and not lose 2 life for playing it. You know.
And I'll say this. You mentioned some the people that will talk about their investment in reserve list cards. Yes, there will be a minor downturn, just like there is in the stock market.
In
any other investment, but you will recoup that money in time. If you've got reserve list cards, you've already decided you're investing time in them
money,
to continue to gain value.
Right.
Yes, you get a minor downturn. But when more people are using those cards, there are going to be more people that are interested in buying the originals.
Yes.
So that will drive the price of it up.
Agreed. So, yeah, you're not wrong. So, again, I think you won combat. I'm going to give you that. But let's pivot because I just realized we're running a little over. So I'm going to go to the main 2 here.
Main phase.
All right, so main 2 here. What I wanted to talk about tonight is, I don't know how many of you might know this, but it is the holiday season here in the American colonies. And and for most of the world, I mean, no matter what religion or where you are, I mean, everybody knows, like, this is the time of year, it's gift-giving time. So, and there are many out there whose loved ones, I'm sure they're listening to this podcast. They're like, oh, I must hear this Magic podcast, even though I don't play the game. But in any event, I want to kind of go over some gift ideas for the Magic person in your life. Maybe you have a girlfriend who plays Magic and you're wondering what to get her. So I had John kind of think about it too, and now that I know he's a starter, he's going to have interesting ideas. So let's, we're not going to go with like cards. We're not going to be like, buy her a set of dual lands at $10,000. Nothing says you care like that, especially if you haven't put a ring on it yet. Do not buy. In fact, I'm going to say this right now. If you have a girlfriend who plays Magic, number 1, she's the damn unicorn, man. Treat that woman right. Number 2, realize something. If you spend $10,000 on dual lands for her and $25 on the engagement ring, I don't care how cool the woman is, she's probably going to be a little upset. Slightly.
And I'll add this in there too. They are not they are your cards and her cards.
Oh yes.
Until there's a ring on it. And then they are the collective your cards.
Right.
And even then that's still up for debate.
Yeah, because I got to be honest with you, I'm going to disagree with you there. There are her cards and your cards, and then you put a ring on it, and then they're her cards. So
fair.
But in any event, so let's talk a little bit about. For me, the first thought I had was playmats. I love playmats. I have like if you ever watch Commander Craft, I try to rotate them in as often as I can. I'm going to make a DR Casual one here soon. Buy dual lands and use origami to make the ring. I don't think that's happening. With proxies, absolutely. But playmat. Like, if your girl plays Magic or your boy plays Magic or your partner, we'll say partner. We should make this gender neutral. If your partner is somebody or your friends or your kids play Magic, playmat is usually a really great thing. Try to find one that's unique. I mean, it's one thing if it's a card they like, but if you can find one that's into something else they like one of my personal favorites is still my Green Lantern. Like, I've got an array of Green Lanterns sitting there. Green, yellow, red, all the colors of the cores. Like, for me, I'm like, that's a great playmat for me. The other one I really love, Taco Bolas, and it's got Nicol Bolas's icon in the Taco Bell font. Hysterical.
And here's the kicker on that.
Yeah.
If you don't find a mat that you think they like, there are websites out there that will let you make your own
exactly
art into a playmat.
Inked Gaming is one of them because that's where I got the former playmats and probably where I'm going to end up getting the new ones. But yeah, so a playmat's a good one. What about you, John? What do you think? What's a good gift idea for a Magic person in your life?
Well, everyone's got all these electronic gadgets. You don't really need to buy the life pad or whatever that you hit a button and it suddenly wipes off because you've got that on your phone. Everyone's got that. Get a nice set of dice.
Hey, Nameless, you can absolutely keep talking, man. It's fine. Go on, though.
Get a nice set of dice. No gamer ever has enough dice.
Right. And by the way, when we say nice set, hear this? Metal. Everybody likes the metal dice these days. Oh, well, there are probably purists out there who think I'm just a horrible person. But metal dice, man. I love metal dice. Like, I only buy metal dice now. I bought my wife pink metal dice like a year ago. She loves them. They're like her favorite dice. So, yes, dice is a great one.
Also, along those lines, we were talking about playmats that you can get customized. Dragon Shield lets you put your own art on sleeves.
Yes.
Now.
I've actually investigated that as well for some Patreon stuff. So, yes. Sleeves are definitely one of those things. Next thing, as far as, gift giving ideas this year, maybe... Yeah, you took my idea with the sleeves. Playmat sleeves. Deck box. Sorry. I had it written down. Even like, and I you know what? I get it. We're kind of just going over accessories here. I mean, we'll kind of say that accessories are a great one for that.
Absolutely.
Deck boxes, sleeves, things of that nature. Other than that, I mean, would you recommend that's another thing.
Gift card to your local LGS.
Thank you. Yes. That was going to be my next thing. And by the way, gift card to the LGS, not to Amazon, not to Walmart, not to, to your LGS. If you don't have one, I get that. You know what? If you don't have one, TCG Player. Get a gift card to TCG Player. Because that all still comes out of the inventory of, now TCG takes a monster cut. But it's still throwing some money at an LGS. Something else to think about. Darn it. I had it and I lost it. The gift boxes. The gift bundles, I should say. Which, by the way, Wizards, what the hell? You are literally bundling a gift bundle? They are now going to keep doing the gift bundles all year round. Because the Phyrexian...
Of course they are.
Phyrexia All Will Be One is going to have... What was it? The completed bundle?
Yes.
That is the
coming
gift...
out like 3 weeks after the release.
That is them saying this was a great idea for the holiday season. And you know what? Why wait?
Hey, every day's a holiday.
God damn it. Yeah. But yes, the gift bundle is kind of a cool product. It's priced adequately in that it's $25 more than a regular bundle, but it comes with a collector booster in it. But I mean, the dice is usually kind of cool. There's usually kind of good stuff. I got to tell you, I buy a bundle every time because I like the box. because I like to put the cards I open in the box. So,
but the completed one is going to be even more above from what I've been told.
Okay.
I've heard about triple. I'm sorry, double of a regular.
So they're going to go up to the full 80. God, Wizards. Good old Wizards. Yeah, so get the gift bundle while you can. The Brothers War gift bundle. Tell your friends. I mean, and yeah, there is other stuff out there that you can get. I mean, I wouldn't recommend the books because they're very hit and miss. Things of that nature. But, here's the best gift idea I can come up with. Okay, here's what it is. If you are with somebody who enjoys Magic, instead of just getting them a gift, give them the experience. If you have somebody who enjoys Magic, maybe plan a Friday night Magic and be like, we're going to go to dinner first. We're going to go and do this, and then we're going to leave enough time to go to the store and buy a few things. Then we're going to put something together, and then we're going to play Friday night Magic, and we're going to come home. That is a kind of really cool way to go about things too. If they draft, especially if they draft with friends, maybe get them a draft booster box. Yeah, Bun, I agree with you there as well. Draft booster box. If you got, that's kind of for a core group. I had a friend who I was working with. We used to play Magic, and him and I would end up just going and buying each other a bundle. And we back when they had 10, and we'd buy a bundle and then 2 more packs. And we made ourselves have 2 sealed events. So, it's things like that you can do. Any number of really cool things to be done. But yeah, I think the gift of time, like if you're playing Magic, because that's just it. Magic is kind of a thing. I would not buy them gems in Arena. As much as I'm enjoying playing Arena, I don't spend money there anymore. I did buy the Master Set. Because it just made sense. Because, again, I'm trying to build some of my collection again. But that's as far as I'm going. I didn't buy the Explorer Anthology. I got the cards I needed out of it.
Yeah.
But
see, I flipped. I bought the Anthology, but not the Mastery Pass this time.
Right, but you probably
just
have been keeping up.
I wanted the Anthology.
Right. And I might consider buying the Anthology. But, I mean, what kills me about Wizards in Arena anyway is your chart... And this is another thing that's really been bothering me. Ever since Nyx's lands in, what was it, Ikoria? Or, no, that was, Theros. Beyond
Theros.
Death. Yeah. Ever since
TBD,
we had those really cool Pokemon lands, they've stopped putting them in every pack. I mean, Zendikar, when Zendikar Rising came out, they weren't in every pack. Oh, wait, no, they were also. They had the full treatment.
Yeah.
But after that, they've been putting all these really cool lands, like in almost every set, but they're like rare-ish. And I'm like, you know what? That sucks. Like that's stupid. And then you go into Arena and they're like, well, you can have these lands if you buy the style. I'm not paying for lands.
I'm not paying for a change of digital visual.
Yeah, no, screw that. So, but yeah, that's kind of, I mean, do you have any other gift ideas that you can think of?
I'm trying to, yeah, I think we're pretty well sorted
this
there.
Is a show. I think we've done a show, man. So if you've got nothing else, why don't we go ahead and get into the end step?
Hit it.
End step.
All right, so as we're rolling up our mats, putting our cards back into our deck boxes, taking our pizza boxes over to the trash, because damn it, your mother still does not work in this mobile gas station. We want to remind you that I have a Twitch channel where I stream all sorts of content. Just look up the Benson MTG channel on Twitch. Wow, I never realized how much of a tongue twister that is. Look up the Benson MTG channel on Twitch, and there you're going to find all the shows I do on both Magic, but as well as Minecraft. There's a storyline coming in Batcraft, the other Minecraft thing I do, like coming up over the next few weeks. So if you enjoy Minecraft stuff on a server, you're going to want to check that out. It's Benson MTG on Twitch. You can also interact with us more real time. Just join our Discord, discord.drcasualmtg.com. And if Twitter is more your speed, you can find our show at DR Casual MTG on Twitter. I'd highly recommend the Twitter. or not Twitter, Discord. We have a blast in there. There's always somebody in there talking about stuff. Parkman's always in there putting up the spoilers and stuff. You definitely want to check that out. And it's also where we recruit players for our Tuesday playcast of Commander Craft. We play Paper Commander live. Just tune into all of our channels Tuesdays at 7 Eastern. Usually right around there, 7:30. And we usually play it, but if you want to be a part of that, you have to go into the Discord. That's just how it rolls. Finally, you can send me an email if you have a question about or suggestion for a topic on the show. Just send it to podcast@drcasualmtg.com, or if you'd rather, just email me personally, will@drcasualmtg.com. So, John, I think that's a show.
Not quite yet.
Oh, okay.
On that note, law.
What?
Never mind.
I am lost. How? No, still only 5%.
Nope.
Okay, good. I'm not high. All right. But yeah, on that note.
Law.
Oh, I get what you were doing now. Okay. Wow. And I'm a music major. I went to college for music. But, yeah, seriously. All right, then. On that note, don't do it. We want to thank you very, very much for hanging out with us tonight. I will be back next Monday. I think I'm going to have Apollo sitting in C2. John will be here again, though. Definitely thanks very much to John for hanging out with us, dude. It was really great to have you here. We'll have you back again. Again, check everything out, Discord and all of that. But for John, this is Will Benson saying thank you for listening. Thank you for following along. Thank you for being patrons and whatever else you're doing. And remember to always keep some of your mana on tap because you never know when you'll need it. Take care. Have a good week. And we'll talk to you soon. Bye now. And we're done. Hit stop.
Stop.
I did not have Zencastr record this, so I'm actually going to have to mix it. I started like 2 minutes in. I might just mix it and then put the first 2 minutes in. I was like sitting there going, why hasn't Zencastr started? Oh, yeah. All right, so I'll have you put your audio file up in Google Drive. So I will get it and then all that. But what'd you think? And we're still on the air, by the way.
Of course we're still on the air. No, I had a good time. I hope I wasn't too flighty for you.
Not at all. Not at all. I think it was good rapport, good talks and stuff. Bun, thank you very much. Yeah, sounds like a cool Twitch channel. Oop, XD. Yeah, I don't speak emoji, so don't worry. If you said something like I'm hot in emoji, I still don't understand it. I see an eggplant as an eggplant. But at any
an ice cream cone as an ice cream cone.
No. There's no way I don't see that as anything other than what it's supposed to be. That's an ice cream cone. That or I don't care who you are. A woman eating a banana, an ice cream cone. Nope. That's immediately what it is. So, 10 out of 10. Bring back John. Well, we will for sure. I mean, it's definitely. I'm liking this kind of rotation for a while. I mean, we're gonna start whittling it down, but I really appreciate you sitting in, man. I mean, and again, give me feedback. Hit me up. You're on the producer channel, or send me private feedback, whatever. But I really appreciate you like coming in and sitting. And then I like the fact that you and I will probably talk Star Trek. I'll definitely probably have you on the week Picard launches because I'm sure we're gonna have feelings. Hey, maybe we'll make a Picard show. But,
oh God. Save us now.
Oh, listen, I am hopeful. I am hopeful for that show. I am very hopeful for that show. I don't expect that show is gonna. I have a feeling when I read that Riker and Picard were gonna disagree verbally and have conflict or something. I'm like. Because it so goes against everything Roddenberry was about.
Yeah.
But I get too from a writer's perspective. I consider myself a writer. It is hard to write utopian fiction and make it have conflict and make it have something you want to be interested in watching. Because since we all kind of live these semi-dystopian lives, when you watch a utopian show, you're like, you can't relate. But he had an idea and he had a point, and I kind of always liked the fact that they limited how the writers were writing, and they said, no, this is the wheelhouse you have to live in, and you just have to do it and make it work. And you know what? They found guys that did. Ron Moore, he made it work. And then he went and did DS9 and was 1,000 times better. And then he did Battlestar and holy cow. But, I mean, anyway. But it is late and I'm going to start this. So if you can, just send me the Google and send it to wbenson@gmail is my Gmail. So just send that to me when you get it.
Right now.
And I'll edit this and probably throw it up online tomorrow at some point, depending on how my day goes. It's been a busy week at work.
Yeah.
But dude, thank you. This was really, really good. And I'm going to stop the stream now. So if you have something you want to say off stream. Bun, thanks for hanging out, buddy. And everybody else who was hanging and watching. Hope you guys are okay. Stay safe. And we'll talk to you soon. Bye. They always try to reflect contemporary. Yes. Bun, before we go off the air. Yes, Star Trek was supposed to be utopian. They always try to reflect contemporary issues on the show, but with a utopian lens. If you think about it, okay, when the original Star Trek came out in 66, or was it 63? It was 66. 66, yeah. Or it ended in 6. Anyway, when they were out in the early 60s, we were in the middle of the Vietnam War. There was as far from utopia as you could get. It was meant to draw a lens to that. So, no. Star Trek was always supposed to be utopian. These writers are lazy. And that's my last word. Guys, have